The first concept that we will discuss is figure versus ground. Figure versus ground is actually pretty simple to grasp. When you focus in on an image, it becomes the figure and everything else becomes the background. For instance, when I look at this image, my eyes are drawn to Delia. Everything that surrounds Delia becomes the background. The concept of proximity states that we group things that are close to one another. So when I look at these signs, I read them as go big green, not big green go. The concept of similarity states that we group things that look alike together. In this picture, the top row of bricks is vertical, the rest of them are horizontal. Thanks to similarity, we see the vertical bricks as one group and the horizontal bricks as another group. The concept of continuity states that we try to find patterns in things. For instance, this bag has a floral pattern made up of geometric shapes. However, when we first see the bag, we see only the floral pattern, not the shapes that make it up. The concept of connectedness states that we see things that are physically linked as one. For example, the 3 segments of the couch are connected. We see it as one sofa. However, if we were to cut it into thirds and separate the pieces, we would see them as 3 separate pieces. The concept of closure states that the brain fills in missing gaps. For example, the letters in this reminder are not complete. However, the brain connects the dots and fills in the missing gaps in the letters, which allows us to read it. The concept of linear perspective states that as one gets farther away from a fixed point, the lines approaching the point will converge. For example, as we grow farther away from the window, the portion of hallway directly in front of the window seems to grow narrower. Interposition states that if an object obstructs our view of something, we perceive it as being closer to us. For example, in this super hipster photograph, the tree obstructs the view of the sky. It's closer to me than the sky is. Relative height states that objects that are higher in our visual field seem smaller. For example, in this photograph, Matt is higher in my field of vision than Delia, thus he seems smaller than she does. Relative size states that objects that are closer to us appear larger. In this picture, Tom appears to be bigger than Aaron. That's because I am closer to Tom. Shape constancy allows us to identify shapes regardless of what sensation tells us. In this image, the locker seems very narrow. Thanks to shape constancy, we recognize that it's actually wider. Size constancy allows us to understand that size is relatively unchanging. For example, when we see the car in this picture, it looks small. However, as it approaches us, we don't think it's magically growing larger, we just understand that it is getting closer. Brightness and color constancy allows us to perceive unchanging colors. For example, in this picture, the way the light hits the wall makes some of the bricks seem like a lighter shade of gray. However, we understand that they are not a different shade of gray, it's just the way the wavelengths hit the wall.